What's going on, and welcome to another episode of the Short Men Only podcast, the place that short men can get news he can use. With me, your boy, your host, Jalal Wilson. And I hope you guys are doing well because I am doing great. I just want to come on here today. It is Friday. We're going to wrap the week. And it's not the end of the week, but we're going to wrap the work week for some. For me, I still got a few things to do before the week is officially wrapped, but let's get into it. I wanted to talk about something that I'm learning about myself, and that is to, stand up for what you believe in, even in uncomfortable situations. Now, most of us, that's easy to do when it's comfortable. It's easy to be like, yeah, I can stand up for myself when it's comfortable. But the real trick, the real key, the real thing we need to nail down is doing it even if we're uncomfortable. Because sometimes we won't do that when we're uncomfortable because we're worried about how we may be viewed by that person. And when we worry about that, we're worrying about the wrong thing in that moment. The reason why we have this concern or this thought or whatever it may be is because there is something that is going on that doesn't sit right with us. So the thing we have to do is to say, okay, yeah, this doesn't sit right with me, but this definitely is something that makes me uncomfortable. But I got to speak up anyway, because the goal is to get to a situation where there's some understanding and there's some, there's some level ground there. And so the only way to do that is to speak up. And it's not speaking up saying, you hurt me or whatever the case may be. It's just saying that, hey, this right here, I wasn't really feeling that. In the future, I like us to do this or that. And you can leave it at that. You know what I mean? But just getting in the habit of speaking up for yourself. Just the same way, let's just say, somebody's making fun of you about your height. Hey, I'm really not feeling that. I show you respect, you show me respect. Like, we need to cut that out. Just know, I'm not feeling that. But just letting people know instead of, going along with situations because we don't want to rock the boat. Sometimes you got to rock that boat. And then once you rock it, you usually, if the person's cool, even keeled, or level-headed, you don't got to keep rocking the boat over the same situation. You know what I'm saying? You'll just maybe you have to rock the boat again somewhere down the line over a different situation, but it won't be the same situation. So if you feel that need to do that, do it. There's nothing wrong with that. It needs to be, we need to normalize doing that more. But I know for a lot of us, it is hard. Trust me. And it was hard. It was hard for me. But it also showed me that I have value, that, I have worth, and it's important for me to carry myself like that. And so in order to do that, you have to be honest. You have to say what needs to be said, even into those tough conversations. I heard this a long time ago from a speaker, and Les Brown. He said, if you want your life to be easy, then you have to do what is hard. If you want your life to be hard, then you will do what is easy. I don't want my life to be any harder than it has to be. So that is one of those moments you got to do the hard thing so it makes your life a little easier. All right, so that's kind of, I got to stop saying so. That is something that I am working on. I've noticed I was writing today, and I noticed that my favorite word is just. I mean, I must have wrote just at least 30 to probably 30 times in this piece that I was working on. Or maybe I'm exaggerating. It might not have been quite that amount. But it was enough. And I'm like, you know what? No more of this just word. I've got to figure out a different word. There's got to be another word in the English dictionary that I can use instead of just. I'm working on that. And I was just about to. Oh, my God. See, I just did it. And I was going to use the word so, but I stopped myself, but then I used the other word. See, we're all on some level a work in progress. The point is that we become aware of these things and we work through and progress towards them. Now, this got me thinking about this short men only podcast. I have no idea how many people actually listen to this podcast. I mean, I literally have no idea because I have no ability to see if people subscribed or whatever the case may be. I have no idea. So what I need, dang it, there goes that so word again. What I would like is for you to email me at shortmennation@gmail.com. Just letting me know, hey, I like the show. I don't like the show. I would love to hear this topic or that topic, or just let me know that, you heard the podcast. That would be amazing. Again, that is shortmennation@gmail.com. Now, when you email me, I will reply. I may not reply right away, but I will reply because sometimes I try not to be checking my email all day, all the time. And I think that's a bad habit for me to get into. So I will respond. Anywho, I just used that word instead of the other word. I decided that it was actually after reading something yesterday, I figured out how to start the community without worrying about whether or not short men, that people who get into the community will only be short. What I'm going to do is require, well, technically, a tall person could still do this, but my thought process is, why would you want to go through all this work just to get in the community with short men, just to troll? I think that would be the lamest thing that I've ever heard of, when there's so much other things that you could be doing with your time, your life, your moments, because life is just made up of constant stream of moments. So the fact that you would spend your time doing that sounds crazy to me. I refuse to believe that anybody would do that. Or maybe I'm naive. But how we will do this is you cannot join anonymously. You got to put you got to put your first and your last name and your email. And then what will happen is that is how I will keep the community, making sure we're on the up and up. Like, if you get in there and you're just doing too much, then we're gonna boot you out. But I think to require everybody to use their first and last name instead of user number 764024, nah, we got to use our names. So my name in there is Jalal Wilson. So if you join this community, you're gonna have to use your full name. I mean, your first and last name. So that's what I decided. That's how that's gonna work. And we're gonna get this community up and running next week. Next week will be the launch. I just want to work out a few kinks in my own mind before then. So that will be that's going to be the launch. That's going to be the day. That's going to be the time. That's going to be the place. We're going to get that done starting next week. And I am excited about this. Now, the last topic I really want to actually, there's a few things. One of them is I started watching these documentaries on, and one of them is on animals, on nature, basically, and it's on Netflix, and it's called Predators. Man, I was watching that, and I was thinking, like, this is, why didn't I get into these nature documentaries before? Because when I'm telling you, this stuff is like fire. It's fire. They got Tom Hardy, which I'm still struggling with a little bit, because when I hear his voice, I think of Venom, and he actually doesn't sound like Venom in these nature documentaries. And now, kind of got myself thinking, is that the same dude that plays Venom? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. It is the same dude that plays Venom. And he does not sound like the same guy from Venom as he does in the, this movie. I mean, in these nature shows. But what trips me out about this nature stuff is they got names for these animals. Like, did these animals tell them that's their name? They got like one says like, a different gang, and then another one's like another gang, and like, man, it's almost like you're watching a movie, and you're rooting for, there's a good guy, there's a bad guy, but these are just animals. But it almost is, it's amazing just the things that you get to understand about animals, and how everything they do is instinctively what they would do. It's not that they take all this time to think, process, and overdo things. They just get them done. That is the most interesting thing. They don't hesitate. They just get things done. One of the things I realized watching these nature documentaries is I knew nothing about lions. And I actually have a lion tattoo, but I knew nothing about lions. Man, lions have it made. And just, they have it made. When you think about the lion, so in this episode, there was a group of lionesses. So the lionesses, they go out and do all the hunting. And then the male lion comes and he gets to eat first. So the women go do all the hunting. The man comes to eat first. But then that wasn't even the craziest part. The group that the lionesses were beefing with, well, the male lion, he had kids with them too. So when they were beefing about the fight, he just sat there and watched, because he like, man, he plays defense on both sides. So he can't be getting in the middle of that, because, he got his lady on this side and he got his lady on the other side. And on both sides, if somebody gets some food, he eating first. Because why? He the man. And he the one that gave him, that they all have kids by. I'm like, man, lions got it made. Because if I tried that crap in my house with my wife, man, let's just say it's not going to go that way. It's not going to be lion. It's not going that way. That's all I can say. So I got my lion tattoo just because, I don't even want to say I'm a lion at heart, because I don't even want to hear, nothing about that later. So I appreciate the lion. So maybe that, we'll just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to leave it at that. Now, there's a couple things that stuck out to me about that. for us short men, as I said, that lions know how to, lions, lionesses, they all act instinctively. A lot of us do not. And so when we don't act instinctively, it's like we got to think about, oh, whether I should do this or whether I should do that, instead of just doing what we know we should do. And that's I find myself in that place sometimes too. Because even with this podcast, I will tell myself, this, I enjoy doing this. It's great to do this. It's amazing, all of that, right? But when I get up, I'll say, well, let me figure out how to make a 65 layer funnel, something I've never done before, instead of doing the natural thing that I do know how to do. We always look to overcomplicate our lives and try to overcomplicate the process and then wonder why, we don't reach our full potential. It's because we're trying to do too much and we're not doing the things that we know we should be doing. Because, hey, we think like, okay, well, this is because this comes easy to me. I need to be doing something that is hard for me. Well, I think the thing is, we need to master the thing that comes natural to us before we start worrying about the other stuff. So I'm learning that for myself. So, I decided to jump on here instead of making, 65-piece funnel. I don't even know if that's a thing, but it was just an example. You get what I'm saying. But in your life, just ask yourself, where can you simplify things? Just where can you simplify things? I actually heard this quote, and I'm going to find it real quick. And the quote is, actually it's not a quote. It's a question. It says, it's a question to ask yourself, like when you're trying to debate what to do or whatever the case may be. Is the situation truly complex, or are you overcomplicating it due to the courage needed to make the straightforward choice? It takes courage to do the simple, straightforward thing, because in most cases, it will not be the most exciting things. And for some reason, we all prefer the excitement that comes along with things. So we'll try to look for the most exciting thing to do, when the thing is, we just need to do the simple thing. That's it. We just need to do that. So that is my thing. I want to encourage you just to think about, what is a simple thing that I could do, and then go do that. And then you make an adjustment if you need to from there. That's, that is my desire. That is my thought process about how we need to maneuver in these spaces. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to leave you guys with a quote, and then we're going to get up on out the dough. All right. And this quote comes from your boy, Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin said, what did he say? He said, either write something worth reading or do something worth writing. Don't let your life go to waste. Do something exciting with it, something that you'll be willing to tell that story about later. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, I did drugs for 8 hours and I live to tell. It has to be something that, you'll be proud of. And if you are proud of that, just maybe get some, different goals, get some different desires, whatever the case may be. But, don't waste your life, and don't wish that you could. One of the things I want short men to work on doing is not wishing they were taller, because you can't be, but what you can be is great. And great doesn't matter when it comes to, it doesn't matter about your height. I just talked about Tom Hardy. I didn't realize he's only 5'9". So he's one of us. And you think he's sitting around telling himself that I wish I could be taller? No, absolutely not. So stop doing that to yourself. All right? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You deserve more. You deserve better. I believe in you. You are enough. I am Jalal Wilson, and this has been the Short Men Only podcast. And remember, send me an email at shortmennation@gmail.com because I would love to hear from you, just to know that you do hear my voice in the void. All right? Enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back at it early next week because that is what I should be doing. So I'm going to do the easy thing that works easiest for me and get consistent at that. So I'll be back again next week. And if you haven't checked out the YouTube channel, it is Short Men Nation on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, watch the video, like, comment, and remember the community is coming next week. So I'm gonna be able to start talking to you guys a little bit more closely then once you guys join the community. So I'm excited. You know, this has been a slow moving thing because sometimes I get off pace. I don't know. All right. And sometimes I don't know exactly what to do or how to do it. I'm just doing it. All right. So that's that.